In the previous videos, we explored what names do to us, their influence, their hidden sides. But to understand what a name truly is, we must first look at its absence. No name, no identity, just silence. In 2005, the world saw this idea come to life, a living example of how society and the human mind react when a person has no name. This is the story of the Piano Man. It was April 2005, on a beach in Sheerness, England. Something strange happened. They found a young man walking by the water. He was wearing a black suit and tie, soaking wet, and he was completely silent. He had nothing on him, no ID, no money, not a single thing to prove who he was. Police asked questions. Doctors tried to talk to him, but he didn't say a word. He wouldn't answer anyone. They took him to Medway Maritime Hospital, but the silence continued. That is, until he picked up a pencil. On a piece of paper, he drew a sketch, a grand piano, perfect in every detail. That drawing unlocked everything. It was the key. They led him to a piano in the hospital chapel, and the story goes, he sat down and played for hours. In that moment, he stopped being a nameless drifter. From that moment, he was the Piano Man. The media went wild. They spun a legend around him. Something romantic, something tragic. Was he a genius who lost his memory, or a virtuoso running away from trauma? The Piano Man's story showed something fascinating about human psychology. It showed us that we simply cannot stand the unknown and couldn't accept a man without a name. So yeah, even our fantasies refuse to be average. So, what happens when someone has no name and no story? We invent one for them. Immediately, we decided that he had to be a genius. As Patrick Wright put it, he became a blank canvas for the world's fantasies. People looked for deep meaning in his silence. They claimed he was speaking a language of silence. But the reality? It was far from that romantic image. Actually, it was jarring. After more than 4 months of silence, the Piano Man finally spoke. He told them who he really was. He was Andreas Grassl, a 20-year-old from a small village in Bavaria, Germany. He wasn't a musical genius. He was just a guy who knew how to play a little, just an amateur. Even his father confirmed it to the press, saying, "He is no professional." And just like that, the mystery was over. All those months of media reports, the videos, the countless theories from experts, the curtain was pulled back, and everyone finally learned who he really was. You see, when a person has no name and no story, our brain feels a void. In neurobiology, they call this cognitive dissonance. It's a conflict. Your brain thinks, he is here, he exists, but I don't know who he is. That creates anxiety, and to get rid of that anxiety, we invent a story. It's like seeing an unfinished sentence and your brain desperately trying to complete it. Here is the interesting part. We don't usually choose the truth. We choose the story that we like. That is exactly what happened with the Piano Man. A nameless, silent man was unbearable for society. We couldn't handle it. So we created a collective fantasy together. We said, he's a musical genius. He has trauma. He has a tragic past. But let's be honest, that wasn't empathy. That was just us trying to calm our own fears. Because think about it, if he is just an ordinary guy, just like you or me, that means any one of us could lose our name one day. And that is a terrifying thought, because a world without names forces us to look at something even scarier. I'm sure some of you believe in reincarnation. Maybe you've even asked yourself that question. Who was I in my past life? I have to admit, it's a seductive question. We are naturally curious creatures, especially when the topic is us. But have you ever noticed something? When people talk about their past lives, they never imagine themselves as just someone ordinary. No one ever says, "I was herding sheep in a village," or "I was just a shopkeeper." No, everyone is always a king or a warrior, a famous poet, someone who changed history. Why? Because our brains love to romanticize the unknown. When we see a blank space, we fill it, and we fill it with epic stories. We cast ourselves in a more exciting role. It's as if being average just isn't good enough for us. Actually, that's a very human thing to do. We all want to believe that our lives matter, that we are special, and reincarnation gives us the perfect excuse. We decorate the past with our fantasies. We give ourselves these psychological labels. I was a leader. I was wise. I was the chosen one. But maybe it's not really about a past life at all. Maybe we just want to feel a little more valuable right now, in this life. So we dream. It's a deeply human need. If this thought feels uncomfortable, good. That means it touched something real. If you're still here, leave a like. And if you want to go deeper, subscribe. And in the end, this story isn't about music. It's about our fear of the unknown. Because when a name is missing, the mind rushes to fill the gap, even if the truth gets lost. And the real question is, what story are we telling about ourselves?